Alright, y'all. So I'm going to go over a few selection tools in Photoshop. So this is your tools panel on the left hand side and your properties over here. If your interface does not look like mine, you can come to this top right hand corner here and select Essentials or Reset Essentials. And it should look something like this. I'll reset mine just in case. There we go. So all of your selection tools are going to be located up here. So this is your move tool, this is the marquee tool, lasso tool, and then magic wand. If you see a little white triangle in the bottom right hand corner of tools, that means there's more tools hidden behind it. So you'll check out lasso tool has polygonal lasso tool and magnetic lasso tool. Magic wand has object selection tool, quick selection tool, and magic wand tool. Okay. These are also selection tools, only you're just basically drawing a circle or a rectangle. Most of the time you'll be using tools behind these two. Okay, so we're cutting out all these seashells here, and you're pasting them in their respective area in this frame here. Then we're also taking this screwdriver and we're putting one in every corner and rotating them so it looks more natural. So they do want us to start with this seashell here, and honestly you'll find which selection tool you like the best and you'll mostly use that one repetitively, but I'll show you what the quick selection tool does. So if I click on that one, if you don't see a circle like mine, you just probably have to make your brush bigger, and you can do that with the brackets on your keyboard. The left one makes it smaller and the right one bigger, or you can manually come up to the top over here and increase the size. The cool thing about this one is that Photoshop does some of the thinking for you. If you see a plus sign, it's going to add to your selection. So if I click once, it only does the inner part, so I'll regular click again a couple times until I see the marching ants around the entire seashell. So that is looking pretty good. So now all I have to do so that it's non-destructive editing is right click on it, and you want to do layer via copy. So you'll see in your layers panel now you have a copy of this. You want to make sure you grab your move tool first. You can come to the tools panel, click on it, or you can hit the letter V on your keyboard. But now that I switched the tool, I can move this picture up to, I believe they wanted it A, but let me double check the sample. So this is from a book assignment, and I want to make sure, nope, I lied to you guys, it goes in B. So there we go. If you don't see this blue box around your selection, up on the top of in your options panel, click on this little box right here, and it'll turn that on. Alright, so that is the quick selection tool. Alright, if you accidentally, I'm clicking back in my background layer, if you accidentally say you added too much, so there's additional white piece right here that I don't want, again up in your options panel there's a minus, and you can come back in here and click a couple times until you see that part go away. Okay, so that is an option. I'm going to deselect because I don't need that one anymore. And since we're going to be making copies, you could come back here and do right click, merge down so that it's back in the original layer, or just make sure you're selecting from the background layer if you're making new selections. Alright, the next one, let's do this other circular one here. I'll show you object selection tool. So this one's really handy because if you just hover over the general area, it does its best to see what it is that you want to select. And this one's not selecting the circle, so I'm going to go back to quick selection tool, make sure it's plus, and see if this one does it. Oh, nice. I only regular clicked once and it selected what I wanted. So for this seashell, quick selection tool worked. I'm going to do right click, layer via copy, grab my move tool, and move this one to A. The reason I want you to do layer via copy instead of cut is in case you mess up if you cut it, you can no longer get a second chance. Where this one, if I messed up, I still have the original here. So right click, I'm gonna merge down. All right, we'll do C since I can show you another selection tool. So C is this one right here. I'm gonna right click and do object selection tool. Because it is a complex shape, this one might be better for it. So I can see a pink outline around the seashell, so I'm going to regular click once to confirm that selection. And that looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to do right click, layer via copy, and just drag this up to place right here. Awesome. I'll use, merge this one down. I'll use one of these tools over here now. So the magnetic lasso tool is pretty handy because it does clip around the edges. I'll show you a difference. You don't have to use this one if you don't want to, but I'll start down here and then I'll just kind of draw slowly around the seashell, and you notice it kind of snaps to the edge pretty decent. As I was saying, my bad y'all. As I was saying, with the magnetic tool, it does search for edges around certain areas, but you do have to be pretty careful when you come around selecting things, and you have to make sure that you click on the first dot that you started on. If not, this is where it never fails that students cannot end the path, and no matter how hard they try, like, it keeps going. So that's the magnetic lasso tool. The other regular lasso tool is just freehand, basically, doesn't latch to anything. Polygonal one too, it's just straight edges that it clips to. So for this one, I just wanted to show you the magnetic one. I'm a cheater and I'm going to use this one right here. And I notice it's adding some of that one, so I'm going to go to my subtract brush and just cut some of that off. Okay, that looks good enough to me. Right click, copy, grab my move tool, and place it under E. Okay, I'm gonna see which tool works best for this one. Object selection is my favorite one. Oops, I'm gonna make sure I'm in the background later. Looks like it didn't work for that one, so back to quick selection, and that one did the trick after a couple clicks. Layer via copy. Okay, if you hover over one of the corners until if you see this little curved double arrow, that means you can start rotating it. And enter. Alright. So these two I just have to merge down, so I'm going to select both of them holding down shift and hit merge layers. And one more time, merge down. Alright, one that I didn't talk about is the magic wand tool, and I'll show you how that one works. Magic wand tool selects based off of color. So if it has a solid color background, like this one has white and this one has red, you can click once, and you'll see that it's selected the red color. However, if I wanted to select this seashell here, I'd have to go to select at the top and then inverse, and now the seashell is actually selected. Right. Just wanted to show you that one. I'm going to use quick selection again for the screw right here. Right click, layer via copy. Grab my move tool. You will have to scale this down. There we go, and then enter to commit. And let's make more copies of this one. So you can make copies by hitting Command J on your keyboard, and you'll notice a copy's been started. Hover over a corner and rotate it. And make sure, if it's not letting you do anything outside of this, you do have to hit the done button here, or up here, this little check mark, or hit enter on your keyboard. A couple more times. Oops. And one last time. Alt Option also works in Photoshop. Enter. Right. Once you've placed all of the seashells and have the screws in the corners, you want to go ahead and do File, Save As, name this Selections, leave it as a PSD, and hit Save. And that is it for how basic selection tools work in Photoshop.